So today we're reviewing
Iron Man 2.
The shadows are calling us out. We are heroes, heroes in the darkest time, when there is no light. Oh, we are heroes, heroes in the darkest time.
Iron Man 2 is basically about Iron Man's technology getting out into other people's hands. The first one, you kind of, happened, but this more so because you have one of the bad guys making a bunch of different robots that he's trying to do Tony Stark's technology, but he really needs the bad guy to actually perfect it. And he also has a disease that's killing him, and this is also Black Widow's first movie.
So for me, personally, I really liked Iron Man. That's probably one of my favorite superhero movies. It still is today. So this was kind of a big sequel that I've been waiting for the second I got out of the theater from the first one. And I actually like this one a lot more than most people gave credit for. I thought the fight sequences at the end with all like the other robots between War Machine and Iron Man, I thought that was pretty cool. The stuff with Black Widow in the hallway is pretty cool. I mean, there are some stuff about like the beginning. I mean, I know it's kind of part of Tony Stark's like character arc where he's being like really arrogant and stuff like that. He still hasn't really like fully understood that like it's not about the machines. It's like he's kind of lost control about that. The villain, or I guess the main villain. I guess there's two villains. I mean, the main villain, the one who like could actually fight, he was pretty cool. But the other guy, I mean, I can't say that it was one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's definitely one of the weaknesses. But
yeah, well, there are a lot of good fight scenes. Like, I mean, the scene with him with his suitcase on the race cars and stuff. That's a really good scene. And the scene, obviously, at the end is really good. And the fact that I like how War Machine's suit, it starts off, because there's also a fight between them, which I really like. That Tony's, like, drunk at that party. And then War Machine's suit gets upgraded, which I really liked. And then I do like the end fight a lot, because they're surrounded by the drones, and they're able to fight him off. And yeah, the villain, because I'm not counting the one weasel guy is a villain, because he's really not a villain. But the Ivanko, we're just going to call him the villain. But, I mean, he was alright. But then, another big strength I have about this movie is obviously Black Widow's first movie, and it's one of her best fight scenes in the hallway. And that's her first movie into the MCU, and
it's also the first appearance of the new War Machine coming off the first one. I mean, I probably thought that was a little bit confusing, because at that time I wasn't, like, as much into the movie loop as everyone else was. So, I mean, I kind of just, I guess the name was the same, so I might have taken a little bit before I realized that was actually him.
Yeah, I didn't really know that at first.
And then one other scene I thought I liked was, it's a really quick scene, but, like, it's during that, like, show where they're, like, showing off stuff, and he kind of, like, flies in the suit. I thought that was kind of a cool scene. But
and also the courtroom scene is a good scene, but now we're going to get into our negatives. So as far as the negatives go, it's honestly, the negatives come with Justin Hammer, which he was honestly, I liked him in the role of just being, like, envious of Tony Stark, because there's certain scenes where he sees him on the TV is a really good scene, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the character is pretty useless. I mean, he doesn't really need to be in it, because he basically makes the drones, but you can make anyone make the drones, and then the real bag, Whiplash, takes it, and he just controls it. He really didn't need to be in the movie. I mean, it could be any character, and then I mean, there's some slow parts, I guess, but the fight scenes just aren't as good as other movies, and that's why I would take off points for that. I mean, they're good, but obviously the fight scenes don't match up to Iron Man 1 or Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have the same exact. I mean, my biggest weakness in the movie, or thing I didn't like about it the most, was that Weasley character, Justin Hammer. Just I don't know, there's the whole storyline of him like or not really making, but trying to get the guy or Whiplash to build whatever he was wanting to build, and he gave him like a bird, and the whole storyline there, it seemed like that just didn't really amount to anything from his perspective. I'm really not even sure if he even got killed off or not. I
He's got
his whole character, I didn't really like that. The fight scenes, I guess it's not as, I mean, there's not a fight scene besides the one between War Machine and Iron Man fighting off all those smaller robots. I guess that one's kind of similar. I still think the one from the first one with the terrorist, I think that scene still is probably my favorite one with him. out of these two movies.
Oh, yeah, that's another negative. With the last boss battle with Whiplash, I just think that was way too short. I mean, he really he sliced off the gun, kind of threw him around for a little bit, but that could have been a lot longer. I mean, I just felt like that was way too... I mean, the Hulk versus Abomination fight was like... I know that was the only two characters, only one really character, but that was like close to 20 minutes, and this was like probably 1 to 2 minutes, which...
Yeah, especially just because... Like, they've been building that up. Like, he first comes, like, with the race car, the racing scene where he basically, like, stops Tony Stark's car. Like, you think they're going to build that up to where they're going to actually fight at the end. I guess it just wasn't it just was nothing that we wanted to, like, actually see there. It just wasn't what we were expecting. So, overall, I really like this movie. Definitely, I mean, it's hard to live up to the first one just because I liked that one so much when I first saw that. Definitely, I liked it more than The Incredible Hulk, so I'd probably... putting everything together. I mean, really the only things I didn't like was just that one character, Justin Hammer, and kind of just let down on a couple of the fight scenes, and it just wasn't what the first one was. So for me, I'd probably give this one an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, and I'm also gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because I mean, it's just thinking back. I mean, I honestly can really enjoy this movie when I watch it, but a lot of it just doesn't stand out as much. I mean, I love the fight scene at the end. I mean, certain fight scenes I really like, and honestly, I can watch this movie and enjoy it a lot. But yeah, certain stuff like the Justin Hammer character can get a little slow there, and certain aspects where there's not a lot going on. Kind of Iron Man with the disease, he kind of had that disease that was killing him, really didn't have any effect because they just cured it, which is, I don't know really why he had that, but I mean, it just doesn't stand out as much as Hulk or Iron Man, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
So awesome. A quick recap. I gave it an 8 out of 10. You gave it a
8 out of 10.
Okay. And the next movie that we'll be reviewing, a quick review of, leading up to the Infinity War in May, is Thor.
Thor 1.
Yeah, the first Thor.
And we'll see you on the next movie review.
Bye, guys.